Hi everyone and welcome to DMU Mentors. Today we will be looking at the previous year question of health nuts from PM. Do let me know in the comments down below if you have any doubts regarding this question and subscribe to our channel for more such ACCA question based videos. All right, so let's start from the question. Before we start from the question, हमेशा अच्छा होता है, it's always better कि हम first we read the question, basically what is required in the question, क्या requirements है, ठीक है? So if you first read the requirements तो हमें basically idea हो जाता है कि जब when we will be reading the question हमें idea हो जाएगा कि what we have to look for in the question, ठीक है? So let us start. The first requirement is calculate both the number of customers HealthNet needs to break even and the margin of safety as a percentage of the month of June for the gym and the cafe. Okay, so this carries 3 marks and the cafe carries 2 marks. Then we have the second part, which is explain what each of your calculations in part A tells HealthNet about the performance of the gym and the cafe. Okay, calculate the budgeted total weighted average contribution sales ratio and the budgeted profit per month for health nuts if it closes the cafe and opens a cliche instead. Last, advise health nuts considering both financial and non-financial factors whether it should replace the cafe with a cliche. I hope we pronounce it as cliche, and whether the calculations in part C provide enough information to make such a decision. Okay, so we have now overall got the now we have got the overall idea कि हमें क्या करना है इस क्वेश्चन में, ठीक है? Accordingly, जब हम क्वेश्चन पढ़ेंगे, then we will see that what we would be needing. Let's start with the question. Health Nuts is a fitness center offering pay as you go gym facilities. Pay as you go मतलब when you go and like basically when you go when you just avail the gym facilities and alongside you will pay. It has a fully fitted gym with the capacity to accommodate 200 users at one time. Okay. It also has 100 car parking spaces and an on-site cafe, both of which are only for customers using the gym. ठीक है, मतलब no और कोई इन facilities को avail नहीं कर सकता unless you have taken the gym membership. The fitness center has shower facilities for customers, and HealthNet provides all customers with a clean towel to use on entry. Okay. It is open 360 days a year from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. Now, ठीक है, हमें आइडिया हो गया कि like what's the capacity of this gym and like it has also got car parking facility and alongside currently it is also running a cafe. ठीक है, and इसने ये भी बता दिया इट इज ओपन फॉर 360 डेज अ ईयर फ्रॉम 7 a.m. टू 9 p.m. लेट्स सी ये इन्फॉर्मेशन आगे कहाँ काम आती है. आई थिंक अब जो रेलिवेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन होगी हमारी रिक्वायरमेंट से रिलेटेड वो अब आएगी. Customers pay $8.4 for access to the gym for 1 hour plus unlimited time in the cafe. Now you see $8.4 for access to the gym. ये हमारा क्या होगा? This is our revenue. ठीक है? When we will be calculating break even, so revenue would be needed to calculate contribution to sales ratio. उसके लिए uh, contribution to revenue ratio उसके लिए हमें revenue चाहिए होगा. So this is one of the first information that is relevant to us. If customers want to use the car park, they have to pay an additional $1 per visit, and 80% of visiting customers use the car park. Okay, 80%. So additional $1 is again would be our revenue, and 80% of the customers would be using the car parking facility. We will see इसको कैसे हम handle करें. HealthNuts has been monitoring the number of customers attending throughout each day for the month of June. ठीक है, वो मॉनिटर कर रहा है, विच वॉज कंसिडर्ड टू बी एन एवरेज मंथ. ठीक है, बेसिकली हम आइडिया ले सकते हैं कि अगर हम पूरे साल का कैलकुलेट करें और तो बेसिकली हम अगर इस मंथ का नंबर ले ले एंड बी मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 12 तो हमें पूरे साल का डेटा आ जाएगा. ये समझ आया यहाँ तक, गौरी? ठीक है. Okay. So, and for which Health Nuts was open for 30 days. ठीक है. This is the average month. It has determined that average number of customers per day is 330, with 40 of these customers attending during the time 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. इसका मतलब जो ये टाइम ड्यूरेशन है, ये जो टाइम पीरियड है, इसके दौरान सिर्फ 40 कस्टमर्स अटेंड करते हैं, while जो बाकी के 290 कस्टमर्स हैं वो इससे आउटसाइड वाले टाइम में जिम फैसिलिटीज एंड कैफे की फैसिलिटीज अवेल करते हैं. Now we come. The total costs of the fitness center for June, excluding the cafe, have also been recorded and analyzed as follows. What is this? Fixed cost per month. Now this is excluding the cafe. ठीक है? We are just looking at the fixed cost for the gym and variable cost per customer, which is 1.2. Okay. On average, half of the customers also used the cafe in June with an average spend per customer of $2.2. Okay. Of this spend, 60% is related to drinks, which have a profit margin of 60%, and the remainder is related to food items, which have a profit margin of 40%. The specific fixed costs associated while running the cafe are $3,600 for the month. अब यहाँ पे बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन आ गई है. ठीक है, कि भाई कैफे है, एवरेज स्पेंड पर कस्टमर 2.2 है, एंड ऑल्सो जो कस्टमर्स है दैट ओनली हाफ ऑफ द कस्टमर्स ऑफ द जिम यूज द कैफे फैसिलिटी. एंड उसमें भी जो 2.2 बेसिकली एवरेज स्पेंड है वो भी डिवाइडेड है मल्टी प्रोडक्ट्स में. आपने कॉन्सेप्ट किया होगा व्हेन यू वर रिवाइजिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट्स, उसमें मल्टी प्रोडक्ट ब्रेक इवन एनालिसिस उसमें आपने किया होगा, जिसमें 60%, जिसमें मल्टीपल प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं, और सिमिलरली यहाँ पे भी है कि 60% इज रिलेटेड टू द ड्रिंक्स, एंड while the rest, the 40% is related to the food items. तो यहाँ पे we would be using that concept to calculate our contribution to sales ratio or weighted average contribution sales ratio. All right, तो हम कहाँ पे थे? हम थे कृषि का proposal पे. After reviewing all of the above information, the manager of Hellnuts has put together a proposal to close the cafe at the fitness center and convert it into a cliche for children. This would mean that parents would leave their children. What is a cliche basically? A cliche is like parents come for the to do their workouts at the gym facility while leaving their children in this cliche so that those can be taken care of during the time जब वो workout करते हैं. ठीक है? This would mean that the parents could leave their children in the cliche while they use the fitness center between the hours 9 and 5 p.m. only. Okay, so if you see, these are only for currently for those only 40 customers which are attending uh, the fitness facilities, because हमने पहले पढ़ा था कि जो 9 to 5 जो टाइम पीरियड था, उस टाइम सिर्फ 40 कस्टमर्स अटेंड करते थे, right? Okay, so the charge for the Krishi would be $4 per child per hour. ठीक है. This is our another revenue when we would be doing this cliche requirement. So we will keep in mind. Okay, so this is the revenue. Initial research suggests that customers have an average of 2 children each. ठीक है. The cliche is expected to attract new customers and increase the average number of customers between 9 and 5 p.m. by 300%. Now, if you see the average number of customers between 9 and 5 p.m. by 300%, इसका मतलब इस टाइम के दौरान the 40 customers जो यहाँ पे कर रहे थे, we would see an increase in those numbers by 300%. So if we see अगर 400 का 300% क्या होगा, it would be 120, right? So we would see that a total of 160 customers would be attending, would be like availing the facilities of the gym and the cliche during this time period. Only these new customers will use the cliche facilities. Okay, this is also simplified. Car park usage is expected to continue to be 80%. ठीक है. The fixed costs associated with running the Krisha are estimated to be 8,000 per month. ठीक है, so this is just limited to the Krisha. This fixed cost is limited to the 8,000 per month with a variable cost of $0.5 per child per hour. ठीक है, so we now have the revenue, we have the variable cost, and we have the fixed cost to calculate our contribution or even ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट्स. ठीक है, इज इट क्लियर गौरी? यहाँ तक सब कुछ क्लियर? कोई डाउट? एनीथिंग? ओके. ओके, so let us start with our first requirement, which is calculate both the number of customers health nuts need to break even and margin of safety as a percentage for the month of June for the gym and the cafe. Now you see यहाँ पे कृषि की बात ही नहीं हुई है. So before this proposal हमें break even points calculate करने both for the gym and the cafe facility. ठीक है? So let us start with the question. Acha, I'll just try to write it in a way as we would be writing it in the actual exam environment. ठीक है? तो ऐसा नहीं है जैसे आपको ये हेडलाइंस वगैरह जो क्वेश्चन की स्टेटमेंट है वो आपको कॉपी करनी है वगैरह नहीं. यू नीड नॉट टू कॉपी, यू नीड नॉट टू वेस्ट टाइम इन सच थिंग्स. आपको सिर्फ जो एग्जामिनर होगा दे वुड बी हैविंग द क्वेश्चन, आपको सिर्फ उनको सिर्फ आपके सॉल्यूशन से मतलब है. ठीक है, so what we can do is we have put here A and then we will put here the first part, that is the gym, and we can even write here for just for our clarity and their clarity, because presentation does matter to some extent. ठीक है, calculate both the number of customers needs to break even and the margin of safety as a percentage. दो चीजें हैं, हमें दो चीजें निकालनी है दोनों के लिए, द जिम के लिए एंड द कैफे के लिए. तो सबसे पहले आता है ब्रेक इवन. ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट. ठीक है, सबसे पहले ब्रेक, जस्ट सेकंड. I hope the text is visible or I can make it bigger. It's fine, right, Gauri? Or you want me to like
Yeah,
make it?
yeah, it's fine.
ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है. All good, all good. So now you see what they have asked. Calculate both the number of customers health nuts need to break even. नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर्स बताने हैं कि कितने नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर्स लगेंगे हमें ब्रेक इवन करने के लिए. नाउ सी, ब्रेक इवन कैन बी इन टू फॉर्म्स. या तो वो एक नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स के फॉर्म में होगा जैसा कि इस क्वेश्चन में, या फिर व्हाट यूजुअली हैपेंस दे आस्क फॉर ब्रेक इवन रेवेन्यू, which is the amount that you need to mention कि भाई इतना रेवेन्यू लगेगा for us to break even, basically no profit and no loss. and ब्रेक इवन का दूसरा मतलब भी हम बोल सकते हैं कि कंट्रीब्यूशन जितना भी आया दैट इज इक्वल टू द फिक्स कॉस्ट, क्योंकि जब कंट्रीब्यूशन वुड बी इक्वल टू द फिक्स कॉस्ट तो जब वो दोनों आपस में एडजस्ट होंगे ना ही हमारे पास कोई प्रॉफिट होगा और ना ही हमारे पास कोई लॉस होएगा. गॉट इट? ठीक है. So to calculate the number of customers for the break even point, we would first, उसके लिए फॉर्मूला क्या होगा बेसिकली मैं लिख के बता देता हूँ. फॉर द फॉर नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर्स और यूनिट्स, अगर आप कोई और क्वेश्चन करते हो तो उसके लिए हम फॉर्मूला क्या यूज करेंगे, फिक्स कॉस्ट, ठीक है, डिवाइडेड बाय वोल्टेज पी आई, सॉरी, old HPP divided by contribution per unit. ठीक है, सो इससे क्या होगा, इससे वी वुड गेट द नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर्स जो हमें लगेंगे ब्रेक इवन करने के लिए. ठीक है, नाउ लेट्स सी हमारा रेवेन्यू कितना आ रहा था फ्रॉम द जिम. नाउ वी आर जस्ट डूइंग द जिम फॉर, वी आर डूइंग द जिम एस्पेक्ट. You remember customers pay $8.4 for access to the gym for 1 hour plus unlimited time in the cafe. Cafe को हम छोड़ सकते हैं. We are currently looking at the gym. So the customers pay access to the. ठीक है. Firstly we will be writing revenue uh, for gym From gym, we can write from gym, it would be 8.4. And then we have revenue from car parking facility, because car parking is also a part of the gym, right? तो हम वो भी हमारा वहां पे रेवेन्यू आ रहा है. तो these are both like connected. So we would be taking this alongside the gym. And so how do we calculate a revenue for car parking? Because they are saying they have to pay an additional $1 per visit, and 80% of the visiting customers use the car park facility. Now, firstly, see, हम यहाँ पे पर कस्टमर के बेसिस पे निकाल रहे हैं. ठीक है, मैं यहाँ पे मेंशन कर देता हूँ. हम यहाँ पर कस्टमर के बेसिस पे निकाल रहे हैं, क्योंकि एज पर द फॉर्मूला हमें पर यूनिट निकालना है. यू गेट इट गौरी? हमें पर यूनिट के हिसाब से हमें ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट फॉर द नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर्स निकालना है. सो वी वुड बी वी वुड बी नीडिंग द कंट्रीब्यूशन पर यूनिट. सो इसलिए हम यहाँ पे पर कस्टमर बेसिस पे रेवेन्यू निकाल रहे हैं, एंड वट एवर द वेरिएबल कॉस्ट हम निकालेंगे इसकी. रेवेन्यू per car parking, they pay an additional $1 per visit, and 80% of visiting customers use the car park. So if 80% of the customers use the car parking facility, then we would be multiplying this $1 by 80%. Okay. And so now this is the total revenue that we would be generating from uh, from the gym only. ठीक है, gym and the car parking facility. If we add up this, we get 9.2. This is the total revenue. And now we are हम what are we trying to like find here? It is the contribution. ठीक है, fixed cost we are having for the gym, and we need to find the contribution. So contribution के लिए, what is contribution? Contribution is whatever the sales revenue there has been minus the variable cost. ठीक है. So now we would be looking for the variable cost for the gym. It is already mentioned here. The total cost for the fitness center for June, excluding the cafe, have also been recorded and analyzed as follows. Variable cost per customer is $1.2. Variable cost, again, this is per customer. I've already mentioned here. This is 1.2. I'll just put here 1.2. Now we have the contribution. So this we have 8 as a contribution per customer for the gym facility. Now we know the fixed costs. Fixed costs were mentioned toward, they are 48,000. And here we go. And now we can easily find the break even point for the customers. So you have the formula here, and we just need to calculate it via this fixed cost divided by 8, which is the contribution per unit, and we have 6,000. Basically, what they are trying to say here, that we would be needing 6,000 customers अगर हमें सिर्फ जिम की फिक्स कॉस्ट कवर करनी है, and we would be having no profit, no loss. So that is what the purpose of break even point. ठीक है, गौरी समझ आए यहाँ तक? कोई भी डाउट, कहीं भी कुछ लगाओ कि ये कैसे आ गया? एनीथिंग विच यू हैव एनी डाउट इन दिस फॉर्मूला, कि ये फॉर्मूला कैसे आया, कुछ भी? ओह नो. ओके, सो टिल नाउ गौरी, डू यू हैव एनी डाउट्स हियर कि भाई कोई चीज यहाँ कैसे आई, फॉर्मूले में कोई डाउट है, कोई फिगर में डाउट है कि हाउ डिड वी ऑब्टेन दिस फिगर, एनीथिंग?
नहीं अभी।
ठीक है, अभी तक इट्स ऑल क्लियर, अंडरस्टूड. ओके, सो दिस सिंस दिस इज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग द कॉन्सेप्ट, इसलिए मैं थोड़ा स्लो जा रहा हूँ. जब हम फॉर द कैफे या बाकी चीजें करेंगे देन आई वुड अगेन लाइक रैम्प अप द स्पीड, क्योंकि फिर कॉन्सेप्ट की क्लैरिटी हो जाएगी। ठीक है। नाउ वी वुड बी कैलकुलेटिंग मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी फॉर द जिम। मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी का क्या होता है? जस्ट गिव मी अ सेकेंड। Basically, margin of safety is, I like you would be knowing what is margin of safety. Margin of safety is this: what is the budgeted number of units or the actual number of units minus the break-even number of units. Basically, कि आपके पास कितना मार्जिन है कि टू दैट यू आर मेकिंग, बेसिकली आपके पास कितना मार्जिन है that you are able to cover your fixed costs. ठीक है? So if you would be having no margin, then you would just be covering your fixed costs. So it is necessary that if you need to make profit, it is necessary that you should have a margin of safety. कि आप basically margin of safety tells you the extent कि आप कितना away हो to just covering your fixed cost. ठीक है? So margin of safety could be in the percentage or it could be in the number of units. ठीक है? Margin of safety का formula क्या है? Budgeted. Again, these need not to be written in the ACC exam environment. This is just I'm explaining uh, for the conceptual learning. Budgeted units or actual units minus the break even units. बेसिकली आप कितने अवे हो अपने ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट से, वेदर इन टर्म्स ऑफ यूनिट्स और वेदर इन टर्म्स ऑफ परसेंटेज। ठीक है। यही अगर हम बात परसेंटेज की करें तो परसेंटेज का क्या फॉर्मूला होगा? अगेन दिस सेम वोल्टेज पी डिवाइडेड बाय बजटेड बजटेड एक्चुअल यूनिट्स। ठीक है। दिस वुड बी द फॉर्मूला for to calculate margin of safety in percentage, while this one is for the break even. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, here we go. Now it's simple, pretty simple. Budgeted actual units और actual units. अब basically what it is asking here कि हमारा जो gym है उसकी कितने in a month. Again, we are calculating this for the month. So what is the budgeted number of customers that would be availing the gym facility for the whole month? ठीक है? यहाँ तक क्लियर है?
Yes.
ठीक है। ओके, here we go. Yeah, okay. So to calculate budgeted customers for June, ठीक है, कैसे होगा? हमारे पास यहाँ पे था, it has determined that the average number of customers per day is 330. Again we read it कि ये एक एवरेज मंथ है। ठीक है। तो average number of customers per day is 330. This is for just one day. We need to calculate for the whole month. We know in the month of June we have 30 days. So to calculate the budgeted number of customers for the month of June would be 330. 330 into 30, we get 9,900. ठीक है। This is the budgeted. Break even units we know. Break even units we know it is 6,000 customers. And now we can calculate margin of safety in terms of customers, which would be this minus this. Again, you can use these formulas in the exam environment. आपको कुछ ऐसे शो करने की जरूरत नहीं जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे शो कर रखा है anything. This you can show definitely, and basically, just here you can just apply the formula to calculate the contribution that you have like you can see here, like you have just subtracted this from this. So you can use these formulas is what I'm saying. To calculate margin of safety percentage, again, we know the formula. Formula is 3900 divided by budgeted. Always make sure कि डिनोमिनेटर में budgeted या actual units होंगे. बहुत लोग कंफ्यूज होते हैं और यहाँ पे इसके बजाय ब्रेक इवन यूनिट्स लिख देते हैं. नहीं, यहाँ पे budgeted या actual units आएगा डिनोमिनेटर में, which is 9900. This is our voltage. This is our percentage. Let me show you. And this is our percentage margin of safety. Basically, what it is trying to say that you uh, 13, you would be needing, like you would have to lose 39% of your customers just to break even. इसका मतलब ये होता है कि आपके पास कितना मार्जिन है, कितना परसेंटेज है आपके. और why we are taking budgeted या actual number of customers in the denominator, क्योंकि हमारे जो करंट अभी कस्टमर्स आ रहे हैं विच इज 9900 फॉर द मंथ ऑफ जून, हमें उसका परसेंटेज कैलकुलेट करना है. बिकॉज दिस 3900 इज द परसेंटेज ऑफ दिस. समझी? क्योंकि डिनोमिनेटर में हमने बजटेड कस्टमर्स ले रखे थे, तो हमें इसका कैलकुलेट करना है कि लाइक इसका 39% कस्टमर्स हमें लूज करने पड़ेंगे, तब जाके हम ब्रेक इवन करेंगे. गॉट इट?
Yes.
ओके ओके. नाउ वी कम टू द सेकंड पार्ट which is the cafe. Now I'll just speed up a bit. हमें सबसे पहले ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट कैलकुलेट करना है. ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट के लिए हमें चाहिए होगा सॉरी, द कंट्रीब्यूशन चाहिए होगा. कंट्रीब्यूशन फिक्स कॉस्ट हमारे पास है विच इज 3600 फॉर द मंथ, एंड वी नीड टू कैलकुलेट कंट्रीब्यूशन. ठीक है, अभी हम यहाँ पे फटाफट करने की ट्राई करते हैं. सो दे आर सेइंग half of the customers also use the cafe in June. ठीक है, with an average spend पर इससे हमें मतलब नहीं है अभी कि कितने कस्टमर्स यूज कर रहे हैं. हमें बेसिकली ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट निकालना है. तो कितने कस्टमर्स यूज कर रहे हैं कैफे को, वो भी हमारे लिए रेलेवेंट नहीं है. क्योंकि हमें खुद के ब्रेक इवन कस्टमर्स निकालने हैं. तो कितने कस्टमर्स यूज कर रहे हैं उसका भी इतना रेलेवेंस नहीं है. विद एन एवरेज स्पेंड पर कस्टमर ऑफ 22.2. ठीक है, नाउ वी वुड बी कैलकुलेटिंग द कंट्रीब्यूशन हियर. कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए क्या कैसे करेंगे हम, जस्ट अ सेकंड. कंट्रीब्यूशन के लिए वी नो दैट 60% इज रिलेटेड टू द ड्रिंक्स एंड 40% इज रिलेटेड टू द फूड आइटम्स. इतना तो क्लियर है कि जो ये 2.2 है इसका 60% इज रिलेटेड टू द ड्रिंक्स एंड 40% इज रिलेटेड टू द फूड आइटम्स. नाउ इफ यू सी which have a profit margin of 60%, whereas the food items which have a, as a remainder, and the remainders are this way. ठीक है, which have a profit margin remainder is related to. ठीक है, which अच्छा, and which have a 40%. ठीक है, got it. Now if you see, ये कह रहा है प्रॉफिट मार्जिन. डू यू थिंक कि ये यहाँ पे फिक्स कॉस्ट को भी माइनस करके बता रहा है, गौरी?
Right.
नहीं, एग्जैक्टली exactly. क्योंकि वी हैव, इट इज स्पेसिफिकली फॉर दीज ड्रिंक्स एंड फूड आइटम्स. द स्पेसिफिक फिक्स कॉस्ट एसोसिएटेड विद रनिंग द कैफे ये ऑलरेडी अलग से मेंशन्ड है. तो यहाँ पे जो ड्रिंक्स है या फिर जो फूड आइटम्स है, इसके यहाँ के प्रॉफिट मार्जिन का मतलब है रेवेन्यू माइनस वेरिएबल कॉस्ट. ठीक है, विच मीन्स द कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन. गॉट इट? क्योंकि फिक्स कॉस्ट हमारे पास अलग से है, तो दे हैव नॉट हियर मेंशन्ड कि यहाँ पे जो प्रॉफिट मार्जिन की बात हो रही है इन्होंने इसमें फिक्स कॉस्ट भी कंसिडर कर रखी है. नहीं, फिक्स कॉस्ट आर डिफरेंट फ्रॉम, आर सेपरेट फ्रॉम दीज ड्रिंक्स एंड फूड आइटम्स. So we would be calculating for the firstly for the drinks. Again, our goal is to calculate contribution per unit. ठीक है, सबसे पहले हम ड्रिंक्स करते हैं. अच्छा, ड्रिंक्स का हमें कंट्रीब्यूशन कैलकुलेट करना है. ड्रिंक्स का कंट्रीब्यूशन कैसे कैलकुलेट होगा? 2.2 is what we are getting as revenue. Now उस 2.2% का ड्रिंक्स का कितना बिलोंग करता है? 60%. We would do it. And so यहाँ तक 2.2 into 60%, it's just the revenue. We need to find the contribution. मैं ये इसलिए एक ही फॉर्मूले में करवा रहा हूँ क्योंकि अगर आप बार बार लिखोगे बहुत टाइम कंज्यूम होगा। इसलिए दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग कि आप फॉर्मूलेस का इस्तेमाल करो और कम से कम लाइन आइटम्स में आप बेसिकली क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व कर दो सो दैट यू हैव आपके पास सफिशिएंट टाइम हो बाकी क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने का और इसमें भी आप ज्यादा टाइम वेस्ट ना करो। ठीक है। सो until here 2.2 into 60%, it's just the revenue that we are getting from the drinks. ठीक है। Now if we need to find the contribution, we would again be multiplying it by zero point 0.6. Why? Because we have, for the drinks, it is mentioned here that we have profit margin of 60%. So now if I do this, we get 0.792. This is our contribution per unit per drink. Okay. And yeah, again, we would be doing the same thing for the food items, which would be again 2.2. Now, food items consist of 40% of the whole 2.2. 40% profit margin kitna hai? Again, just to calculate the contribution per unit, it is 40%, which have a profit margin of 40% food items. Okay. So again, into 40%, we have 0.352. Now again, this is contribution. Now we have this contribution as a whole, like basically we are considering as one item because average spend वहाँ पे 2.2 है जो 60% ड्रिंक्स का कंसिस्ट होता है और 40% फूड आइटम्स का. So we have here as a whole contribution per unit of that 2.2. समझ गई? ठीक है. This is the contribution per unit. Now we know the fixed costs for the cafe. कितनी बताई थी? 3600. We can now easily find the break-even point. Break-even point for this would be 3600 divided by 1.144. It is 314, or you can just round it up, which would be 3.47 units. Sorry. ठीक है. This is our break-even point. Basically, these many units would be required, and each of these units consists of 60% of drinks and 40% of food items. Always remember this. ठीक है. You need not to write it anywhere, but just for your clarity, this is what it means. अगर 3147 यूनिट्स है तो हर एक यूनिट में 60% ड्रिंक्स होंगे एंड 40% फूड आइटम्स होंगे बिकॉज दैट इज द एवरेज. एक एवरेज 2.2 स्पेंड में इतना ये प्रोपोर्शन रहता है. ठीक है. वी कम टू मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी. मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी अगेन कैलकुलेट करने के लिए we would be needing a budgeted we would be needing a budgeted. Okay. बजटेड चाहिए होंगे, राइट? बजटेड नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स. कैसे कैलकुलेट करें बजटेड नंबर ऑफ यूनिट्स? हमें दे रखा था ऑन एवरेज हाफ ऑफ द कस्टमर्स आल्सो यूज द कैफे इन जून. हाफ ऑफ द कस्टमर्स फॉर द मंथ ऑफ जून जो कि जिम फैसिलिटी अवेल कर रहे थे, द हाफ द नंबर दैट हाफ ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ दैट of the customers use the gym facility. So, and with an average spend per customer of 2.2. Again, so this we have already like calculated a contribution per customer हमारा कितना आया. We just need to find the number of customers that were using the gym facility, and that has already been given here. Half of the customers of the gym facility. We already calculated above what were the budgeted number of customers for the month of June using the gym facility. It was 9900. Just to रिमाइंड यू, ये हमने कैसे कैलकुलेट किया? 330 हर महीने आ रहे थे, एंड वी मल्टीप्लाइड इट बाय नंबर ऑफ डेज विच इज 30. ठीक है. So that's how we got budgeted number of customers. To calculate budgeted number of units for the cafe now, it is set half of the customers. So 9900, we can basically use the again formulas here. You can go back, इस सेल को select करके आप इसको divide by 2 कर दो, and it would be absolutely correct. ठीक है. Budgeted number of customers we have found. Customers, break even point. Break even point we have it. ठीक है. ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट मैं यहाँ लिख देता हूँ, या ब्रेक इवन नंबर ऑफ कस्टमर्स लिख देता हूँ, या ब्रेक इवन यूनिट्स लिख देता हूँ. We had already calculated it. It was 3147 customers or units, you can say. It's one and the same thing. Now we can calculate margin of safety. In terms of customers, it would be this minus this. 1083 customers हमारे margin of safety हैं. ठीक है. Now same, to calculate the percentage margin of safety, again 1083 divided by budgeted number of units, not the break even units, budgeted number of units, which is 4950. We would be giving it as the percentage. Just a second. So it is 36.43. Basically, 36.43 customers, basically 36.43% of the customers we would have to lose, हमें वो खोने होंगे, तब जाके हम ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट पर आएंगे, जो कि हम नहीं आना चाहते. बट दिस इज व्हाट द मीनिंग ऑफ मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी इज, कि इतने परसेंटेज ऑफ कस्टमर्स लगेंगे हमारे जो बजटेड है या एक्चुअल जो हर महीने आ रहे हैं, उतने परसेंटेज ऑफ कस्टमर्स लगेंगे, तब जाके हम ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट पर पहुंचेंगे. एनी डाउट गौरी? एनी डाउट हियर दैट यू थिंक कि कैसे हो गया ये यहाँ पे? एनी डाउट हियर? Gauri, you weren't audible. You can also write it in the chat. If Just let me see if I can access the chat. Oh yes, I can access it. Okay, okay, okay. So glad to hear that. There's no doubt. Okay, so explain what each of your calculations in part A tells health nuts about the performance of the gym cafe. Now, see, this carries 3 marks. Um, Now since this is a skill level, आपको यहाँ पे बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. What you can write about here is basically whatever you have done in the uh, in the first part. Basically, that's what it is asking. That's what it is asking कि आपने explain what each of your calculation tells nuts about the performance of the gym and the cafe. हमें परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में बताना है अबाउट द जिम एंड द कैफे यूजिंग द कैलकुलेशंस जो हमने पार्ट ए में करी है. क्या हो सकता है? 3 मार्क्स का है तो आप अराउंड 3 लाइन्स लिख सकते हो यहाँ पे. क्या हो सकता है? आपने सबसे पहले ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट्स कैलकुलेट करे कि 6000 फॉर द जिम है, एंड कैफे के लिए 3147 customers है. Basically, you can write the gym needs 6000 customers per month, and the cafe needs like 3147 customers to cover its fixed cost. ठीक है. This you can write. You have calculated the margin of safety. आप ये लिख सकते हो कि दोनों के मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी काफी सिमिलर है, बोथ द जिम एंड द कैफे. एक का 39% है, एक का 36% है. ठीक है. सो यू कैन राइट कि दिस द मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी टेल्स अस द एक्सटेंट टू विच the margin of the margin of safety tells health nuts about the extent to which it has the capacity to cover its fixed cost and also and making a profit. इन दिस इंस्टेंस अब आप इस जो आपने कैलकुलेशंस करी तो आप वो कर सकते हो जैसे इन दिस इंस्टेंस इट्स मार्जिन ऑफ सेफ्टी is such that it would take 39% and 36% of its customers to basically it has to lose 39% and 36% of its customers for the gym and the cafe respectively, but it would still be like covering its fixed cost. So these are just three lines that you can write. आपको कुछ ऐसा डिटेल में एनालिसिस करके नहीं डालना चाहिए, कोई आपको एडवाइस नहीं देनी है. बेसिकली वट एवर यू हैव कैलकुलेटेड, जस्ट 3 to 4 lines यू नीड टू मेंशन. बेसिकली जो आपके रिजल्ट्स थे आपको वो लिखने हैं, एंड उसका मीनिंग क्या है, उससे उसकी परफॉर्मेंस पे आप क्या बोल सकते हो. You would have to write just 3 to 4 lines because it only carries 3 marks. Any doubt, Gauri, with respect to this part? We would
No.
be okay. We would be practicing this written part again, but since we are today short of time a bit, so just like summarizing it here. But again, it's just the same as what you have calculated in the first part. Coming to the part C, just what are they asking? Calculate the budgeted total weighted average contribution sales ratio and the budgeted profit for the month for Helena if it closes the cafe and opens a Christian set. Now we had also the Christian proposal था हमारे पास. Now अब हमें वहाँ पे वो उसका यूज देखने को मिलेगा. ठीक है. Calculate budgeted total weighted average contribution sales and budget for the if it closes the cafe and open the Christian. Budgeted profit for the month. Okay, ठीक है. Now see, uh, अगर हम यहाँ देखें तो ये यहाँ बोल रहे हैं कि हम कैफे बंद कर देंगे एंड कृषि ओपन करेंगे. सो व्हाट डज इट मीन कि जो कैफे से हमें इनकम आ रही है वो बंद हो जाएगी, राइट? सॉरी. जो कैफे से हमारी इनकम आ रही थी वो बंद हो जाएगी और जो कृषि से हमारी इनकम स्टार्ट होगी वो शुरू हो जाएगी. Now, Krisha would also increase the number of customers for us, as we हमने यहाँ पे पढ़ा था कि Krisha कुछ हमारे increase आएगा जो हमारी gym facilities increase करेंगे. So we will consider that while calculating our contribution and revenue for the gym. ठीक है, जो new customers आएंगे हमें उनसे gym के लिए revenue वगैरह आएगा. So we would be considering that. ठीक है. Sorry. So here we go. Just to summarize you, total weighted average contribution sales. Basically, now we are operating the gym and the crochet, right? So total contribution from gym and the crochet divided by the total revenue from the gym and the crochet. That is the meaning of weighted average contribution sales ratio. Basically, जिम में कितने कस्टमर्स आ रहे हैं उनका सारा कंट्रीब्यूशन एंड रेवेन्यू, क्रीशे में जितने भी कस्टमर्स आ रहे हैं उनका सारा कंट्रीब्यूशन एंड रेवेन्यू. We would divide the total contribution of both by total revenue for both gym and the creation. ठीक है. This carries 6 marks. So again, how we begin. First. We are opening a crochet. So we would be first we have to see that how many customers would be availing the gym facility. पहले हम सबसे पहले the gym के लिए डालेंगे the gym. ठीक है. सबसे पहले we need to see the customers. We know the uh, revenue and contribution already, जो कि हमने फर्स्ट में कैलकुलेट किया था per customer. We just need to find the total new number of customers by opening the crochet facility. Got it? We knew that, sorry, we knew that old customers of the gym were 330. This we knew, right? We had, it was already mentioned there that 330 were already attending. But, but, With the Krisha proposal, we saw that there was an increase in the number of customers, which were here. The Krisha is expected to attract new customers and increase the average number of customers between 9 and 5 by 300%. Now it is talking about 9 to 5. And we knew that only 40, only 40 of these customers attend the gym facility from 9 to 5. So 300% increase of 40 customers. So we can say that new customers that we had for the gym is 40 into me 300, or like you can multiply it by 3, or you can like do it even this way. We get 120. Hmm, okay. Now this is total customers, right? This is the new total customers, the total customers after opening the Krisha facility and closing the cafe. In the cafe, there were, you remember the number of customers, the half of the customers of the gym facility, right? So that we are not in, that we are eliminating here, and we are adding the new customers from the Krisha facility. Okay. If we add this, we get 450. This is per day. If you remember, this is just for the per day. Make sure we are calculating it for the whole month, as it is already. You need to read the question carefully. Always make sure you read the question twice and you read it carefully to ensure that you are calculating the same thing as it is asked in the question. Okay. Budgeted profit per month, total contribution sales ratio, and budgeted profit per month. So if had it been given per day, we would have calculated per day, but it is asking for the month. We would be multiplying it per month. So 450 into 30. This is 1350. This is the number of customers that we would be attending, that these would be availing the gym facility. Now we know we can little hurry up here. Total sales we knew per customer what we were getting. It was 9 point. It was 9.2. If you remember, Gauri here, right? 9.2 revenue from the
Yes.
gym and revenue from the car parking. We know the total number of customers availing the gym facility. 13,500 divided by 9.2. This is the revenue, total sales. Now we can also calculate the total contribution. Contribution again, 1350. We had already calculated the contribution, which was 8 for the gym, if you remember, as we have calculated as जो हमारा first part था, A part का, multiplied by 8. We get these two as sales and revenue, sorry, sales and contribution for the gym. Any doubt till here, Gauri? I can put here dollars.
No. No.
All right, all right. Now we come to Krishe. I hope this is called Krishe. I've never heard its pronunciation, but yeah. ठीक है. They say they say that how many customers would be availing the gym facility. We read here that it was during the Krishe is available only 9 to 5. ठीक है. And the customers here were like 40 customers, right? Availing the gym facility during this time. The Cliche expected to attract new customers and increase the average number between by 300%. This we have already understood. Read the next line. Only these new customers will use the Cliche facility. Only these new customers. It is not saying that the old customers would use the Cliche facility. What do I mean by old customers? The 40 customers which were previously availing the gym facility during this time. No, It is it is specifically mentioned here that only these new customers, which new customers, the increase, the ones which is increased, the 120 new customers will be only using the Cree facility. Okay? So, yeah, I will be writing here total customers is 120. Make sure you not add the 40 customers here. Again, I'm repeating because it is specifically mentioned that we would only be using the new customers. The new customers would only be using this facility. Again, this is per day. You have to keep in mind whether this is per day or per month. Otherwise, you can get your calculations wrong. We would be multiplying this 120 by 130. Sorry, 120 by 30. We would be getting total number of customers per month. Now comes the interesting part. We have never calculated revenue or contribution for the creature, so we will be looking for it now. We already saw here the charge for the creature would be 4 per child, $4 per child. Okay. Initial research suggests that customers have an average of 2 children each. Means average, like इससे कुछ लोगों के इससे ज्यादा होंगे, कुछ लोगों के इससे कम होंगे, लेकिन अगर हम एवरेज की बात करें तो सबके पास 2 children होंगे, which they would be sending in the creche facility. 2 children each. Now, when the revenue is $4 per child, so for 2 children it would be $8, right? So here we have the revenue. To calculate the revenue, we can revenue. Just a second. Total sales, I would write. Total sales. We have the total number of customers into not into four, but since every customer would be having 2 children, we would be multiplying it by two. Okay. This is the total sales that we got from the customers using the Cree facility. Talking about the contribution. Contribution. What is contribution? Contribution is sales minus variable cost. We have already been given the fixed cost for the Cree, which is 8,000 per month. What about variable cost? Variable cost is also mentioned here with a variable cost of 0.5 per child per hour. Okay, so 0.5 per child. Now, since every customer has 2 children, so this variable cost would be 1, right? 0.5 into 2, that is 1 for each customer. So, so if you see, we had $8, right? $8 per customer. $8 how? 4 into 2 for one customer. It was we were getting revenue of $8 from one customer. What would be the variable cost from one customer? Each customer has 2 children, and since the variable cost of one child is 0.5, for 2 children, it would be $1, right? So 8 minus 1, we get contribution per customer. Okay? From one customer, we get contribution for one customer. So what you can do is directly right here, 3,600 per month customers multiplied by 7. How did we get 7? I can just specifically write 8 minus 1. 8 is our revenue from each customer. Everyone would be having 2 children, and minus 1, which is the variable cost for 2 children once again. We get 25,200 as the total contribution. Okay, we have now calculated the gym, the total sales and contribution for the gym, and total sales and contribution for the pre-shift. Okay, it's time to calculate weighted average contribution sales ratio. We know we know. Total contribution from both gym and cliche is total contribution this plus this. We get a total sales. We get total sales from the cliche plus total sales from the gym. We would be dividing it. It is weighted average CS ratio. We would multiplying, we would dividing the total contribution by total sales. We get the weighted average contribution sales ratio. Got it? Yeah. Any doubt, Gori, until here? Any doubt? You think that how did we get this? Any doubt at any point in this question?
No.
All right, all right. We have calculated the first part for our C part, the weighted average contribution sales. Now we need to calculate budgeted profit for the month. Budgeted profit is pretty easy. What is profit? Profit is contribution minus fixed cost. Basically, if you have contribution more than the fixed cost, then you would definitely be having a budgeted profit. What was the uh what was the total contribution? We have already calculated it. The total contribution was $133,200. Fixed costs. Okay, so where were we? We were calculating the budgeted profit per month with a cliche. And here we were saying, okay, we had calculated the weighted average CS ratio. Now we have calculated the total contribution. Now we were looking for the fixed cost. It was already mentioned here that the cliche has fixed cost of 8,000 per month, right? Just a second. Oh, it's there, right? Okay. All right. So 8,000 per month. I can write it here. What about the gym? So if you remember, it was already mentioned in the question, the total cost for the fitness center, excluding the cafe, has also been recorded and analyzed as follow. Fixed cost for the month, fixed cost per month, it is already excluding the cafe, right? So we have the fixed cost for the gym as well, which were 48,000. So now, if we just subtract this from this, we get our budgeted profit along, we get our budgeted profit if we open the Cliche facility. It is 77,200. Okay, so it is all clear. All right. So now we have calculated everything as it was asked in the C part. Now we come to D part, which is advise health nuts considering both financial and non-financial factors, whether it should replace the cafe with the cliche, and whether the calculations in part sheet provide enough information to make such a decision. Now, what it is basically asking here is to compare the cafe and the cliche. Okay, based on both financial and non-financial factors. Talking about financial factors, I think the best way to compare both of these would be the budgeted profit, right? So, as a first part, firstly, it would be the best to calculate the budgeted profit from the cafe so that we can compare it with the budgeted profit of the cruise. Budgeted profit with the ship. And so here we go. So we knew that what was the uh, total contribution from the gym. We knew what was the total contribution from the gym. So total contribution from the gym was total number of customers again for the month of June, which was 9,900. I can just go above and just 9,900 multiplied by the contribution. We have the contribution from the gym. Now we need to calculate total contribution from from the cafe. To calculate the total contribution from the cafe, just a second, sorry, guys, from the cafe, what it would be? It would be, we knew it was the half the customers of the people availing the gym facility. So 9,900 divided by 2 into the contribution, which we have also calculated, which was the 1.144. This was the total contribution. Okay. Now we we have contribution. Now we also need to calculate total fixed cost. We know the total fixed cost for both gym plus cafe were, for the gym they were 48,000, and for the cafe it was mentioned in the question survey it was 3,600. The total fixed cost for the cafe per month were 3,600. It was 51,600. We would be calculating. And this is the profit, budgeted profit with the cafe. Why did we calculate this? Why did we calculate it? Why did we calculate the budgeted profit for the cafe? Because it was asked in the question to advise us that which would be whether replacing the cafe with the cliche would be better. So we had to consider the financial factor. Financial factor, it is here, it is the budgeted profit. We can write it in our answer that based on the financial factors, the budgeted profit from the cliche is much higher than the profit with the cafe. So on the financial grounds, we should replace the cafe with the cliche. This is the financial talk. This is the financial factors that we have considered, and you need not write more than this. Talking about non-financial factors. Non-financial factors, what could be the non-financial factors? In the question, it is not mentioned anywhere that how did the health nuts obtain this data, obtain these initial estimates, whether we can rely on these. There is no information given with regard. So, secondly, you could also write that opening the cliche could upset the customers, which would be uh, which would be needing a child-free environment. Like the customers may get upset when would they hear the loudness and loud noises from the cliche, the where the children would be making noises. The customers could be upset, and hence it is likely that Health Nuts would lose its customers. Moreover, it is possible that many customers would be upset by due to the closing of the cafe, because it is already mentioned within the question that half of the customers using the gym facility were using the cafe. So closing the cafe would definitely disappoint them, and it is possible that they may leave the gym facility as well. The health nuts may lose its uh, existing customers who were using the cafe facility. So these were some of the non-financial factors. Another Financial factor, if we just need to like, if we have to even consider, one financial factor could be there is no information given about the investment details of the cliche. There would definitely be some conversion cost for replacing the cafe and converting it into the cliche. There has been no information given whatsoever. So that would definitely be health nuts would definitely be incurring additional costs with respect to that, and whether it would be profitable for the health nuts, it is not. There is not enough information given to make a decision. This is the conclusion you can write, and since it is considered of 6 marks, again you see basically what you can write is you can write 1.1 mark, 1 point per 1 mark, and you can accordingly write around 5 to 6 points. You need not write it in detail. You can write just one liners and you would get full marks. Okay. So what did we cover? We covered two financial factors. We covered 2 to 3 non-financial factors, right? Non-financial factors were whether the data is reliable, and whether would people be upset by opening of the Krisha facility, and accordingly it may lose its customers. Additionally, with the closing of the cafe, uh, the health nuts could again lose its customers, which could cause a huge loss for the health nuts. So again, there is not enough information given to make this decision whether to replace cafe with the Krisha. Okay, so thank you all of you for watching this video. I hope that you fully understood this question. So let me know in the comments down below if you have any doubts regarding this question. I'll definitely uh, m- uh, make some time to to reply to your queries, and do subscribe to our channel DM Your Mentors for more such ACCA question based videos. Thank you.